Back here, first things first, Sports Illustrated senior writer, man of many takes, Chris Mannix is with us.
What up, man?
Sorry, I went off script there for a second. I'm sorry, we're back. It's all...
You had a perfect game. And now you just walked a batter.
That was
and
a
it's
perfect.
Listen, you'd had a perfect game. You've now walked a batter. You're still throwing a no-hitter. So we'll see how the rest of the show goes. But the perfect game's off the board.
How about the man of many, many interesting takes?
It would have been fine. You just don't stumble over it. That's the walking of the batter. Wow.
Start over again tomorrow. Trade talks for Anthony Davis heated up yesterday.
Trade Nick in. That's what we're going to do.
Thank you, C. As it stands, Mannix, the Lakers and Celtics at the forefront of possible destinations for Anthony Davis. L.A. has reportedly offered Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and that number 4 pick in a deal. The Pelicans reportedly really want Kyle Kuzma. The Lakers don't want to part with him. On the Boston side, AD's agent Rich Paul told Sports Illustrated that if the Celtics were to trade for AD, it would simply be a one-year rental. Lots to unpack here. Mannix, let's start with whether the Lakers are the favorites in all of this.
I think they're a favorite right now. I think if the Pelicans were enamored with that number 4 pick, we'd probably have a deal done. At the moment, they're not. The Lakers are trying to find a taker for that number 4 pick at the moment. I don't know exactly what they're going to be able to get back for that 4th overall pick. It's not anywhere near as valuable as a pick inside the top 3. Teams like the Darius Garlands and the Jarrett Culvers, even Cam Reddish, who I think is going to make some moves on draft night, but not enough to give up anything substantial, at least not anything that the New Orleans Pelicans want. So I'd put the Lakers right now as a slight favorite, but I still think it's very early in this process, and a lot can change over the next week.
Well, when you say early, I was about to say it's early kind of in that they do want this deal done before the draft. The draft, we know when that is.
A week is a long time, though.
Oh, sure. The draft is 1 week from tonight, right? It's June 20th. And so for the Pelicans, the reason they want this done by the draft is because if they are going to receive draft compensation from anyone, they want to be able to pick the player. They want to be able to have a guy that fits what they're trying to do. We talked about this last night. If the Pelicans are good with Ingram and Lonzo, but don't want the pick, they want a player, what type of value does the number 4 pick have across the league to other teams? What are the types of players or the names of some potential options that you think the Lakers could acquire for that 4th pick and flip to the Pelicans?
I do think it depends on the team and how much they value that 4th overall pick and the position that particular team is in. I mean, an Aaron Gordon type makes some sense at that number 4 spot. You know, Clint Capella's name has come up in trade talks before, but then you get into the machinations of making a trade like that with both guys like Capella and Gordon, who are just examples at this point, making max level money. So you have to figure out how that works on the Pelicans books to make a deal like that. Look, I think the Lakers are going to spend the next few days and into the next week, if that's what it means, desperately trying to find a taker for that number 4 pick to get something that the Pelicans want. I also don't think that Kyle Kuzma is going to be a deal breaker. I don't think the Lakers are going to hold on to Kyle Kuzma and not get a deal done in exchange for Anthony Davis.
Mannix, are you like me, even concerned that they have the power in the front office, even if they were the favorite, which you say they might be a slight favorite, that they have the intellect, the skillfulness, because it might take another team to be able to pull this off? Do you have confidence, or are you like me, I have a lack of confidence in what the
Lakers could pull off a complex trade involving multiple organizations?
Yes.
That's your concern.
I think that's a fair concern. I think Rob Pelinka is an excellent deal maker. He's done it as an agent in the past. I mean, you can question the types of deals that he makes. When it comes to constructing deals, I think he's capable of doing it. Just the question is, what kind of value can he find for that 4th overall pick, and can he get the Pelicans something that they ultimately want?
I think the Kuzma stuff is a smokescreen. I think that what I think is the Lakers are trying to set up the narrative. If this deal gets done, Ingram, Ball, 4th pick, that they can say, look, we held firm. We didn't give up Kyle Kuzma. The idea that the Lakers would risk not getting Anthony Davis, and I like Kuz, but give me a break. Like that's not going to be there. And so I don't think that is a reality of the situation. There was even a report in the LA Times by a writer I have an enormous amount of respect for, Tanya Ganguly, saying that the Lakers, if they were to include Kuzma, maybe they could then keep the 4th overall pick. There is not a person in the world, no, even if the 4th pick doesn't have the value the 3rd pick does, that values
I still want it.
Kuzma more than the 4th overall
100%.
pick. Right.
Yes.
So, all right. So we're on the same page on that. We're on the same page on what the Lakers could offer. The other teams that can get in the game are who and what is the Celtics' last best offer? Does it involve, as we sit here today where it looks like Kyrie is out the door, but we won't know that by draft night officially, does their last best offer involve Jason Tatum? And if not, what can they offer?
I don't believe that without any type of commitment from Kyrie Irving, the Celtics will offer Jason Tatum. He is the best player that could be involved in any currently constructed deal, and the Celtics aren't going to part with him, because if they do and Anthony Davis walks, all the gains they made,
the rebuild was a bust then.
It was a total bust. Do I think they'd include Jaylen Brown in that mix along with draft picks? I do. I think that is a Jaylen Brown-centric offer with a whole bunch of draft picks, and they can go 5, 6 first-round draft picks deep over the next couple of years. I think that's something they'd be willing to put on the table. But I will say this. In the last 48 to 72 hours, since the Kevin Durant injury, there's been, I guess I'd say, a renewed invigoration within the Celtics organization about maybe convincing Kyrie Irving to stay in Boston. I think before the Durant injury, there was a strong belief that he was going to walk out the door. But now that Durant's hurt and likely out for at least next season, and who knows what he looks like beyond that, I think there's a sense that maybe they can convince Kyrie to stay. And if they're able to construct a deal that the Pelicans will accept, even if it includes Jason Tatum, they can turn and go to Kyrie and say, if you stay, we are going to get Anthony Davis. We have this deal in place that we know the Pelicans will accept. All we need is for you to tell us that you're going to stick around.
The one-year rental doesn't scare off the Celtics in any way. He and his team seem adamant that he is only going to be anywhere other than most likely the Lakers for a year.
I would say this. There's not much that really scares Danny Ainge on stuff like this. He just believes that, look, he's not going to do something stupid, I don't believe. I don't think he's not going to make a Tatum trade with nothing there. He's not going to give up all his assets. But posturing like this doesn't bother Danny Ainge. Just like bringing Kyrie back after all the turmoil doesn't really bother Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge is a player of the 1980s. He was playing in those Celtics locker rooms where most of the time they all hated each other, and it was a lot of back and forth between guys. He believes talent wins championships. So if he can get Kyrie Irving to sign, he will roll the dice and bet on his franchise.
Okay, so 2 points on that, though. First of all, we know the one-year rental scares him in this regard. If in that Sports Illustrated interview, Rich Paul, instead of saying if you can trade him to the Celtics and he will be a free agent in 2020, if the quote was, if the Celtics trade for him, he's signing an extension, then guess what? Jason Tatum is traded and it's done. So in that regard, we know it has a chilling effect. And in the other regard, Danny Ainge loves talking about making deals. He does not love the idea of ever potentially, maybe just a chance, losing a deal. You reported he could have had Kawhi Leonard on a one-year rental not for Jason Tatum, but for Jaylen Brown, and decided that's too rich for my blood. So the idea that Ainge, I get it, you would include Tatum if you were not only trading for a year, maybe more of Anthony Davis, but a de facto trading for 4 years of Kyrie, it makes sense. But this is where the timelines don't match up. Kyrie, I would be shocked if Kyrie, after waiting this long, doesn't hit true free agency.
Oh, I agree.
And then Danny Ainge would have to be rolling the dice. And I don't think the Celtics offer can trump the Lakers offer without including Tatum. Doesn't seem like they're going to include Tatum. Jen, I know you don't buy into the one-year rental thing. I'll say it again. If there's a team that's going to not care about the one-year rental and want to get in the game, that team is Denver. Denver has the assets. They can think we can do a Toronto-type situation, try to go win a championship. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of buzz around Denver actually doing that, other than people like me and Mannix and others bringing them up as a possibility.
Not yet at the moment. I think a lot can change over the next couple of weeks. But just to put a button on what an agent says, look, I believe Rich Paul's looking out for the best interest in his client. He firmly believes that L.A., regardless of LeBron, is a good landing spot for Kevin Durant. However, I don't believe that the representatives for Paul George want him in Oklahoma City before that trade happened. We certainly know when the Kawhi Leonard trade went down, because there was reports out there, Kawhi doesn't want to be in Toronto. That didn't scare the Raptors off, and look where they are now. So there is a lot of things to gain from rolling the dice.
Told you. I am anti-one-year rental. Chris, stick around. Coming up.
That's a take right there.
Yeah, listen, all the things you said, that was my take. You just said it with better words. Will the Warriors force a Game 7? That's ahead on First Things First.
Did anybody not see the Aaron Baines option?
Oh, yeah.
That was a huge off-season move.
Yeah. And Jenna, you're actually pro one-year rental.